Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Hey, Las Vegas, what's going on? It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. Talk of Las Vegas, also streaming live on the Odyssey app. AUDACY, in case you don't have it. And if you don't, well, you know, you're not a whole person. So get that app right now. We would certainly appreciate it. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, X, at The Mark Hoke Show on YouTube and Facebook, and at Mark Hoke Show on X. Please join us there. We'd certainly appreciate it. And, you know, a wild week. Tony Khan's getting paid. A little bad blood last night. Actually, a lot of it, and a whole lot more. And I decided I'm going to bring my own bloodline in for this show today. We're going to have a lot of fun. So let me get the boys on here. First in studio, my good friend Jason Halperin is in the house messing with the mics. How you doing, Jason?
Doing good. How you been?
I am very well, thank you. Welcome back to the show. From Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin, Texas, we welcome in the big man. He is Stu Myrick. What's up?
I won't throw up the ones. I will throw up the horns, though.
Yeah, you're a happy.
Longhorns are about to be #1 again.
Yeah, well, you can thank Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. I think that goalpost might be floating towards the Atlantic right about now.
That was crazy last night.
That was funny. I mean, and that was hilarious. They paraded that thing down Broadway. I mean, it was fantastic. So
yeah, so Stu is celebrating that, and we also bring in from the Wrestling Revolver and Maryland Championship Wrestling. I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. He is the president of wrestling. Welcome in, Phil Stamper. Phil, how are you, sir?
Why are you afraid?
You there's an official seal. For those that are on the radio, you can't see this. There is an official seal of the president of wrestling behind Phil Stamper today.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
That is awesome. God bless you, sir. I salute you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we're going to have a great time today talking pro wrestling, and what a amazing week it was. And I want to start this off. I'm just going to get into bad blood right away, guys, because it was an interesting evening. I think I was more excited about the beginning and everything that happened afterward than some of the stuff that happened in the middle. But we're going to break this one down for you first. And leading off was the match of the night. I have a feeling you guys are going to agree with me on that. I've had CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. Poor Drew McIntyre. Oh man, he's not in good shape today. Got a little metal in the head, but CM Punk knocks him off in a really good match last night. Phil, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match, man. They beat each other up pretty hard.
So this was the only match I actually watched of the pay-per-view because I was at another event last night. So I tried to catch up this morning because I saw a lot more on social media that I'm sure we'll get to in a moment. But this, I really liked the match. I was shocked that it was the opening match of the evening. I sort of, in a weird way, do understand structurally why they did it, and get you super engaged, gets you like, oh my gosh, this is how they're kicking things off. Things are going to go insane tonight, and it met that level. They are certainly also working up, it took so much out of everybody involved in this matchup. They had to take or get Punk medical assistance after the match. So, I'm curious. Then what happens next?
That is a very good question. Stu, your thoughts on this one? It was a wild one last night. A lot of good weaponry, nothing too crazy, but Drew McIntyre walks out with 16 staples in his head.
Yeah,
after getting hit with a toolbox. Ouch.
Big bag of beads. Bag of beads.
And it lasted like half an hour.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what the hell? Tony Khan take over Bad Blood or something? It was what you expected. you know. And yes, I pray to God this is the blow off, and I hope that they send Drew and Punk in different directions now, because they got this thing, this whole rivalry. It's been what, a year,
Just
maybe?
about.
So yeah, it's time for them to do something different. So it did what it was supposed to do, and it made sense. If you had seen the reports from like Sean Ross Sapp and those, it kind of made sense, especially once you go through the rest of the show and then what happened at the end. Made sense for this one to be the first match, and like you said, just get the crowd ramped up and ready to go.
Yeah, and plus you got to clean the ring too and get that extra mat out of there. It was
Yes.
a messy one last night, but still pretty good. Jason, your thoughts on this feud ending, and what were you thinking after you saw the result on this one?
Well, first off, I'm thinking that I'm glad it's finally over, because they have they've beaten this one to the ground with these two guys already. Glad it finally has a conclusion. At least hopefully it has a conclusion. You see where Punk is going after this. Punk is going to be heading towards the top. But the question that I have is, where are they going with Drew McIntyre after this now? I mean, he's gotten put over. Is he dropping down to a second tier? I mean, where do you go with him after this?
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky decision for WWE. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I have a question for all you guys real quick. Compare this to the Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page match. Which one is a better match? Which one was more viewable? Which one did you like better? Let me start with Stu on that.
Oh man. I don't think one was better than the other. It was two different, views of the same genre, basically. I think I said this on your show. I had a problem with the whole hypodermic needle into the mouth with Hangman and Swerve. What was the purpose of that? And B, it just felt Yeah. So with that, yes, I prefer Punk and McIntyre, but I think I don't think it's a matter of quality, better or worse quality. I think it's just two different ways to express that genre of wrestling.
Phil, what do you think?
I'm in many ways, I absolutely agree. I might have, I don't know how to word this. In some ways, I really didn't care about Punk and Drew McIntyre, though I thought it was one of the best stories that WWE had. I had more invested because personally I like Shane, and I wanted to see that match, and see how it went. I'm not gonna lie. I watched knowing this Hell in the Cell was happening, knowing I missed it last night. The first thing I looked up was, is Punk injured? Because I kind of expect that after this match too.
Nice. What do you think, Jason?
I'd probably have to go, the entertainment value. I probably found a little bit more entertainment value in the Punk, the Punk McIntyre match. But like I said, I think also because I think you have you should have a definitive conclusion here and let these two guys go their separate ways at this point. I think that's probably more what I was looking for out of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast between what AEW is doing and what WWE is doing. So just thought I'd throw that out there because it's and Stu, you brought up just some rough stuff in there, but there were some tough spots in that Punk match last night too. Drew took that bounce off the stairs in the ring where he caught right in the middle of his back. I mean that did not look good. I thought Drew was going to get hurt on that one
for sure. And kind of like what Jason was saying, just like that Swerve Hangman, that needs to be the blow off to that feud. This needs to be the blow off to this feud. Have everybody go do whatever. What Punk goes for Gunther, or and you mentioned McIntyre. I'll be honest, I don't know what you do with him. Is he going mid card? Is he gonna mill around in the upper mid card? That'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if they dropped him down. I think you got to do something. I mean, look, you had him at a very elite level here, and I don't think they're done with Drew McIntyre towards the top of the card. So we'll see what happens. The question is who, but well, that's up for Triple H to decide. He's got some work to do.
Isn't it a good problem to have though when it's like, oh, wait a minute, any number of these guys can be the top guy tomorrow.
Right.
Like, oh, this person gets hurt, we have to change the plan. Okay, insert Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I think he
when I
gets
say
so
that, I don't want
underrated.
anybody to get hurt. I realize how I just said that.
And didn't forgive me. I mean, it would not shock me if we see Drew take a little bit of a break. Because didn't he have a loss in his family recently?
Ooh, that I'm not sure about.
I can't remember, and I may be totally, and I hope I'm mistaken, and I'm sorry if I do, but it seems like they may let Drew take a couple weeks and rest and rejuvenate.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea. He's been working so hard.
His brother has passed away just 2 days ago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it would
or
not,
aunt. I'm sorry, his aunt. His brother announced the aunt's death. Sorry.
So it would not shock me if he takes some time to, take care of that and kind of grieve and kind of rejuvenate himself. So
yeah. So, but a really good match there last night. Oh, and I hate to say it, but to me it was the peak of the evening. We get to the next one, Nia Jax and Bayley. And this was a match where I give Nia Jax credit for trying to do some different things in the ring. I give her credit. Michael Cole didn't do her any favors last night. When they were, the one spot where she tried to do a Hurricane Rana, and it was a little clunky, but it wasn't terrible or anything like that. I mean, for her to be doing something like that was pretty cool as was. But I don't know. This match just didn't click with me, I guess. And of course, Tiffany Stratton came in with a case, and we had the usual goofing around with that thing, and Nia ends up knocking off Bayley. Jason, your thoughts on Nia Jax and Bayley as Nia moves on?
I thought it almost seemed like a filler match after the Hell in a Cell match, which is, it's sad to say that a championship match has that feel to it, but it was a letdown match. Where they go from here, I mean, obviously you still have the angle for Nia Jax to go with Naomi as the next woman up, so to speak, and eventually you're going to have Tiffany Stratton try to cash in on Nia Jax. That's got to be the angle they're going to have to play here. It's the only angle really left to play.
Yeah, Stu, your thoughts on this match and just how it was executed.
I wonder if part of the lack of enthusiasm, shall we say, was because of where it was placed on the card.
Yeah, tough spot.
Yeah, had to follow Punk and Drew, so that's a tough spot. And we know the WWE crowds, a lot of them, they're not as invested as what's happening in the mechanics of a match as they are, okay, what rundown is going to happen or who's going to show up or some surprise. And Jason mentioned it, Tiffany Stratton trying to cash in. I think there may have been a little bit of that with this one. So, and there's a little bit of the whole, Nia Jax, there is a history of the fans not exactly being on her side anyway. So I think it was one of those things. I think you're right. It's, you got Naomi up next. They've got to do. I am not a fan of having the Money in the Bank briefcase being held for, an endless amount of time. I get wanting to put some time in between winning the briefcase and cashing it in. But yeah, I think they're going to have to pull that trigger sooner rather than later.
Phil, what did you think of this? I mean, you're a guy that gets in the ring, from a technical standpoint and just overall.
So I will say, like I said at the start, the only match I actually got to watch.
Oh, that's right. You didn't see this.
Was
yet.
Hell in a Cell, but the social media feedback of this was actually fairly positive, which is shocking because it's social media and shocking because it's Nia Jax. And what you said is exactly true, that it was about its placement.
Yeah.
And looking at the other matches on the card, this might have been the best place for it. What do you do to follow up with a Hell in a Cell match? Like,
yeah,
luck or unluck of the draw, but the fact that it looks like a little bit of the crowd is turning positively on Nia Jax is a good thing. Hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and like I said, I give her a lot of credit for last night for trying to do some different things in the ring. It's clear she's looking to open up her game a little bit. You know, if just from my standpoint, you know, haven't wrestled professionally or anything like that, but just from a coach's standpoint, the one thing that I'd really like to see her do is to work on more explosiveness and more speed in the ring, because the power game is there. That's what she does. You know, when she makes impact, she makes very good impact. But I would really like to see her just get a little faster. I mean, you know, you think about like a spear from Roman Reigns, just how explosive that move is. And I think if Nia could just get a little bit more of that, I mean, she would just look devastating in the ring. So that's kind of where I think Nia should take her progression. And she's trying to do some new moves, which is cool. I think if she could work on that explosiveness, you know, that would be huge. What do you think about that, Stu?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, just it needs, she needs to not look like someone that is lumbering.
Right.
She needs a little, and I'm not saying she needs to get really fat, just maybe just a step quicker, I think could make a huge difference.
Yeah. And it's, you don't want to ruin what she has and the assets that she does. Now she decides that she wants to, really trim down and do some, become a different wrestler. That's certainly on her. She wants to do that, and no one would fault her for it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think kind of finding a middle ground there would be a cool thing. All right, so we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got more about Bad Blood. But I just want to remind everybody too, if you're going to be doing some traveling, man, there's a lot of PLEs and AEW pay-per-views, TNA. You need a hotel room. Go to the TravelShark.com/Hoke Show, and you can get some amazing discounts. It's powered by Priceline, so you're gonna get those great employee hidden rates that everybody tries to get. Don't guess about your hotel room. Just go to the TravelShark.com/Hoke Show. Get the best deal right now. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's TravelShark.com/Hoke Show. All right, we're gonna be back with more here with Jason Halperin, Stu Myrick, Phil Stamper joining me here on the Mark Hoke Show. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, streaming on the Odyssey app and also out there on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just search the Mark Hoke Show. You'll find it. Thanks for being with us. We will be right back.
Tom, you ride. Hey, Tom, sweet ride.
Thanks, Jim.
Hey, Tom, sweet ride.
That's my ex-girlfriend. Thanks, Marcy.
Did Tom get a raise? Did he win the lottery?
Nah, I just got a sweet loan from One Nevada Credit Union.
Smart move, Tom.
Thanks. They have great terms, low rates, and an easy approval process. All I needed to do was find a sweet ride.
Get a sweet loan for a sweet ride at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Our one focus is you.
Life moves quick. There just isn't enough time to get it all done between drop-off,
Bye, Mommy.
drop-ins,
Hey, got a sec?
and of course,
Drop and give me 20.
and when there is time, there isn't money. But at One Nevada Credit Union, we can help you with both. That's why our one checking account gets you your paycheck up to 2 days early when you set up for direct deposit. Early paydays start here. Sign up for your own One Nevada One checking account at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Our one focus is you.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down. Get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. I love that when I'm spending time with my grandson, I can make him a bottle using water from any tap in our home. With a LifeSource whole house system, every drop is clean, healthy, and ready for anything, from baby bottles to bath time. Plus, no regular filter changes, no fuss, just clean water throughout the entire house. You deserve water that performs at its peak. So call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com for factory direct pricing today.
Warranty limitations apply.
Join the Vegas Chamber today. Being a member of the Vegas Chamber sends a powerful message of credibility and that your business is connected to a larger community of organizations dedicated to ensuring Nevada is a great place to live, work, and do business. Joining the Vegas Chamber and becoming part of the largest business organization in Nevada has never been easier. Grow your business within your budget. Visit vegaschamber.com and join today. Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We are gods of the universe. That's what we do. Phil Stamper's loving that. It would have been funny to hear you laugh at your mic. There we go.
Well, even when I laughed, I didn't really laugh out loud anyway. It was just
fair enough. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Jason Halperin joining me here on the show. We're breaking down WWE Bad Blood from Atlanta last night. We get to match number 3, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And Finn lost. I mean, I don't really know much more to say about that. They did the interference thing with Judgment Day. It didn't work. Damian Priest wins, and Finn Balor looks like an incompetent goofball. I'm not happy about it. I think this hurt Finn very badly, more than I think people know. Phil, what do you think about Finn Balor losing this match in that way too?
I'll be honest, after Finn Balor recovered from his injury when he became the first ever WWE Universal Champion, he's never recovered back in the WWE. Period. End of statement. Done.
Yeah, good point. Jason, your thoughts on Priest getting the win and Balor? Well, just it's bugging me. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I said Finn needs this win somehow, some way, so he doesn't fade into obscurity and hurt the whole Judgment Day. And there it goes.
Well, I think everyone knew that Finn was not winning this match, even if there's interference or anything like that. You knew Priest was going to get the win in this match. Finally, where it has to go now with Finn is he's got a tag team belt. Start defending it. I mean, make use of it. You have two guys there. These guys have wrestled once for the tag team championships on the line since they won them back in June. There's your push with Finn. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's where you have to push him right now. You've got to make use of the fact that he's got a title. Push that. Just push that already.
Fair enough. Stu, what do you think? What'd you think of this one?
I agree with Jason. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 or 4 weeks on Raw, Judgment Day has gotten the upper hand on Rhea and Damian. So yeah, so in a sense, I kind of agree. Yes, Damian needed to win this, just because he'd been getting beat up for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, it was time. I also agree with Jason. Yes, Damien is one half of the tag team champions on Raw. Let's have some defenses. Start lining up some tag teams. Look, I don't think anybody is going to see Finn Balor as any less than what he is. He's a phenomenal wrestler, And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people that have watched wrestling for a long time still think of Prince Devitt and still give him that cachet. So I don't think this is going to hurt Finn that much. I think it simply matter. And look, and I'll admit, I am a huge fan of Damian Priest. I got to know him when he was in Ring of Honor. Great guy. And he's, and I've been a huge fan of his. So I have no problem whatsoever Damian getting the victory here.
Yeah, and I don't either. I mean, it's nothing against Damian Priest. I agree with you. I've loved him since he was doing the Ring of Honor with Punishment Martinez as well. I mean, he's a terrific talent. Yeah, I just feel kind of bad for Finn. Phil brought this up that this has been going on since he had to forfeit the Universal title. It's been years and years. And, I just feel like I wish he would get another chance at some point, but that chance is not going to be now, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get those tag titles going a little bit. Let's see him and McDonough actually do something in the ring. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, a DQ victory, an unplanned one for Rhea Ripley as she gets the win, but no title against Liv Morgan. Our boy Dirty Dominic Mysterio up in a shark cage and was absolutely acting petrified. And I think he got more heat than anybody else did in this match. A rather awkward finish with the DQ as Raquel Rodriguez comes in, interferes in the match, and it was supposed to apparently be a Liv getting dropped on Rhea after Raquel knocked her out, but the referee was facing the wrong direction and saw everything and had to DQ her. And also, by the way, very interesting use of that ref cam as we heard Rhea ask the referee, "Hey, do you mind if I go out and take care of some business?" while Dom was hanging upside down from the shark cage. And the ref was like, "Yeah, go ahead. You're not getting counted out. Just go do it." I don't know if it was one of the worst or funniest moments in professional wrestling history, but it was interesting. Stu, I'll start with you on this match. Boy, it just turned into a bomb at the end, but
it was a little bit of a comedy of errors. I mean, the funny thing, Rhea beating Dom like a piñata. That was great. I loved it. The Raquel Rodriguez interference. Look, I'm all for her showing a mean side. We went through all that her babyface run, and all she did was smile. I mean, it was reminding me of Jonathan Ogden from the Ravens, and Jonathan Ogden has the best smile in the NFL. But so I get wanting to show a little bit of bad side with Raquel, but yeah, that was a comedy of errors. And look, the ref did what he was supposed to do, because that's something when you learn as a wrestling referee, you're enforcing whatever rules there are, and if you see it, you got to call it. So yeah, he saw the interference, he had to call the DQ. I mean, so no heat. It should be no heat on the ref. That's on Liv and Rhea. So
yeah, pretty interesting. Jason, what'd you think of this whole thing?
I think while it was a comedy errors, I think the WWE is going to get a really nice spin out of it personally. I think the fact that the ref had to call it as DQ, you still have the fact that Rhea has not lost her title. They still get to play the angle. You now have Raquel Rodriguez back in the mix now as the muscle on the women's side of Judgment Day. It also now allows her to eventually, me personally thinking that eventually she's going to be the one to turn on Liv and take the title. And now you set up Raquel versus Rhea in a much bigger match than what you're going to get out of Rhea and Liv. I think they have a really good chance to spin this in a positive way. Comedy errors, yes. But if it done right, it can turn into gold for them.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, Phil, that a lot of people noticed was that the crowd wasn't really that excited about Raquel showing up. And I don't know if that's just because they couldn't really tell who she was. I mean, she was dressed in black, and it was pretty sudden for where she came out of the blue.
I'm actually
should there
watching.
be any concern?
I was gonna say I was actually watching the clip of it, and you're right. I think when she pops up, it's like it's hard to see. You're crouched down. It's right in the spot. You're not in the ring, which is a raised platform, so the crowd doesn't even. I don't think even initially see it until they finally get in the ring, and by then, well, the action's already happened. So yeah.
Yeah, so this will be interesting to see how this all works out, and it's good to see Raquel back, though. I mean, everything she went through. Happy to see her doing her thing, and she'll be hanging out with Liv for a little while, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And then we get to the main event, and boy, there's going to be a lot of questions about the main event. And by the way, Jesse Hyde in the chat box, I will mention, one night in the ATL, Hell in a Cell recaptures its aura. The Rock is back. He's angry. Jimmy Uso's back, forms the OG bloodline. Looks like KO turns heel. Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on off that. But tag match and a lot of introductory stuff going on. I think the boys were trying to show who has the best introduction. As the Arkansas Pine Bluff band plays Cody in. Went okay. Roman Reigns has his own little entourage playing violins and orchestras and all sorts of stuff as he comes in. And then we get the tag match going back and forth. A good finish. Cody wipes out Jacob Fatu, and Roman ends up finishing it off with Jimmy Uso's interference. So Jimmy's back. The Rock comes out at the end, gives us a gesture that we have no idea right now what it means. But I thought it dragged a little bit, but otherwise decent match. Jason, your thoughts on what happened last night with the Bloodline?
Well, I almost fell asleep during the entrances until they actually started the match, because it took 25 minutes to actually get them into the ring, and then the stare down, as to who's even going to start the match. But after that, the match was it was entertaining. Nice to see once again the OG bloodline get formed there. It sets up nicely moving forward for future pay-per-views. Gives them another angle. The whole Rock thing at the end, not sure what it means, not sure where it goes, except for the fact that I think it's going to set up the Rock and Roman for WrestleMania 41.
Phil, what'd you think of that?
So the way I saw all this happen at first was The Rock's Instagram putting out afterwards a little promo like, the final boss will let you know why the final boss is here. The final boss will tell you what the final boss is going to do when the final boss wants to tell you. And it's like, well, I don't know anything that's happening other than the final boss is here. So now The Rock is back. So there was a lot about this premium live event that just transitions this now to what's going to come next. And so what is the tease of The Rock? Is The Rock mad at Roman? Is The Rock mad at the bloodline? Is Rock still angry with Cody? Which I will say that in his Instagram post, he's still mad at Cody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny when I came in, I said to Jason about that Instagram post that I swear to God, if I'd have had to drink every time The Rock said final boss in that 5-minute post, I'd have been in a hospital. It wouldn't have been good. But Stu, what'd you think about all this craziness?
It did what it's supposed to do. You're right. I mean, Cody and Roman getting the win, and Jimmy Uso finally back. So yeah, you're starting to build back the OG bloodline, which that'll be good. Especially you got Survivor Series War Games coming up soon. The Rock thing is interesting, and I get what Jason said about setting up for WrestleMania. Well, let's hold on one second, because you got this gigantic event happening beginning of November in Saudi Arabia. And Triple H even brings out this crown jewel championship that's going to be the WWE champion, the world champion on both men and women. which, by the way, the belt was giving me Mid-South vibes, the old North American.
Oh, that was the North American title. The North American title had a baby with the AEW World Championship belt, and there it was.
Exactly. So could The Rock find his way to Saudi? It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility. The Saudis would pay for it. But yeah, are we looking at Rock Roman, Rock Cody, Rock Roman Cody? What in the to quote The Rock, what in the blue hell? I mean, so we'll wait and see. I'll be honest. The whole Instagram promo. Good Lord, I love The Rock, but man, let's just get to it. Let's not have a bunch of rigmarole. Let's just get to what we're doing. Get to the point. I have a late colleague of mine that used to do radio here in Austin. He always said, "Put it on a postcard." In other words,
that's a good point.
Make it brief.
Yeah. Does the new Bloodline guys get hurt by this? Because I tell you what, they're taking losses like crazy. And that's one thing that I knew they were going to lose this match. But does their aura get stung from another loss here to Roman and Cody? Or am I overthinking this a little bit? Anybody
have an aura?
Ooh, okay.
It depends on the follow-up. It depends on the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get to SmackDown and Solo and the boys wreck shop, nah, I don't think because like you said, nobody expected Bloodline to win this one. It was going to be Roman and Cody. You knew that. So as long as they follow it up right, it won't matter. Plus, you got to remember, and I'm gonna call them the Guerrillas of Destiny still have the tag titles on SmackDown. So there is that.
Yeah, there's a many puzzle pieces to come together after this, and we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you what, The Rock's gonna drive me nuts. He is. It's got to get squared up, and he's been talking to. I mean, I hate to put Dwayne down because he's one of the best all time to do it, but even before this, he's just talking too much. And Stu, I think you said that great. Put it on a postcard is a perfect line that he could say the things that he's saying, like in that 5-minute Instagram, he could have done that in 2. The one promo that ran like 11 or 12 minutes on SmackDown right before a WrestleMania could have done it in 5.
He can do it in 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And still gets point across.
Yeah, he could. So Dwayne, just back it off a little bit. I know you're drinking the tequila and having a good time, but we got you. All right. We got you. All right. Let's take a break. And when we come back, more about Bad Blood. I wanted to talk about that championship belt and what's going to be happening at Crown Jewel coming up. And I do want to remind everybody, if you want to make some money off professional wrestling, go to our website and click on the betonline.ag link, because you can bet on pro wrestling over there. You get a nice 50% matching bonus up to $1,000 with the code BOL1000, thanks to me. So be happy about that. I'm giving you $500. So check it out. You can bet on all your favorite PLEs, pay-per-views, and of course, all the sports are up there from pretty much around the world. Jason, you've probably seen that site. It's nuts.
Absolutely. It's nuts. I just remember looking at that back in the day with the Super Bowl. Seeing the wrestling stuff on there is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. So check it out. Go to markhokeshow.com and click on one of the banners and go to betonline.ag and get your bonus today. All right, stick around, everybody. Best in pro wrestling, and I got 3 of the best with me today. I love these guys to death. Jason Halperin, Stu Myrick, Phil Stamper in the house on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We got more pro wrestling coming for you when we come back.
Are you looking for a beautiful piece of land in the mountains for a first or second home, or an RVer looking for a piece of land to call your own? This is Audrey with Western Land and Ranches. Forget about those long 4-hour drives to Utah when 2 hours away is Greenwood Ranches in northern Arizona, offering 5-acre properties from $39.9 on Saturday, October 12th. Situated on new county-maintained roads with electric, there are no HOA dues or hassles. Taxes are $90 a year. Financing is available. These 5-acre ranches are beautiful with wonderful mountain views, good tree and ground cover at a very comfortable 4,600-foot elevation. Though rural and peaceful, you are located less than a half hour from Kingman for major city amenities. Set aside Saturday, October 12th and call 1-800-THE-LAND for an early appointment. 5 acres, just $39.9. So beautiful, so close. Call 1-800-THE-LAND. That's 1-800-843-5263.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Hey, Nevada, it's time for football at BetMGM. Take the field using promo code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $250 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Download the BetMGM app today and visit any of the 9 BetMGM sportsbooks on the Las Vegas Strip to complete your sign up. Enjoy up to 3 hours of free parking at any of our properties too, with validation. Remember to use bonus code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, when you place your first wager on options like the money line, parlays, original bets, live betting, and more. You'll get up to $250 back in bonus bets if you don't win. Football is back, Nevada sports fans. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. Nevada only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. MGMResorts.com/GameSense.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
I'm just mocking Jason Halperin on the live stream right now, having a good old time. If I can figure out which way to point, I gotta remember it's opposites. What Jason's got get that Penguins thing off the live stream. Ew, yuck, blah.
Let's go Caps.
You too?
Yeah, okay.
That's all right. I hate the Penguins way more than I hate the Caps.
Fair.
Stu, do you want to offend me with hockey too while you're at it?
Hockey?
Thank you.
Fellas, we're in Texas. There are only 2 sports in Texas. Football, spring football.
That's it.
Fair enough, Stu Myrick. Thank you. Glad you didn't bring up the Dallas Stars. Now, those Cowboys, they're not good.
We have the Texas start. No, they haven't been good for a long time. And I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan, lifelong long-suffering Cowboys fan. So.
Well, you know what? That's just too damn bad. I feel terrible for you. Not. Anyway. We had mentioned the crown jewel belt where the world champions are going to face off, the men and the women. Big old super diamond belt, looking sexy. But is this a good idea? Does this work? Stu, I'll hit you with it first.
Yeah, it's it's something for them to. They can bring those 2 champions together, have a match, and actually have something on the line besides their instead of their titles. So, in that sense, it works. if it's a one-off thing, all right, whatever. I wonder if they will try to make this kind of something they'll do every time they go to Saudi. And if they do, I mean, it's going to be one of those where, once it happens, everybody remembers it for a week or two, and then it'll be forgotten until the next crown jewel.
Fair enough. Phil, what do you think of this? Do you like it?
I mean, kind of exactly the same when they had the first world's largest, greatest Rumble and Mansoor won, and didn't he win a championship that we never
the belt? Yeah,
I thought it was the Crown Jewel Championship, to be honest. Never again mentioned. And never did you see Mansoor then for another year, or 6 months or however long it was back until they went to Saudi. So I'm not giving a lot of faith, a lot of build into the next pay-per-view. I think that's good. Or excuse me, premium live event. Great for them. What they're gonna do out of that, okay, you're gonna. I feel like you're gonna have this huge build for Saudi, and then trickle into what's left into Survivor Series.
Yeah, Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree with both Stu and Phil there. I don't see much purpose to it except for building up the premium live event here. You're going to have somebody, they're going to parade around the belt for the next week or two, and then just kind of move on from it. It just gives you a reason to want to tune into a glorified house show.
Well, here's my one issue with it is, I remember back when Roman and Drew faced off, and they were dual champions. The one risk I think that you run with this match is that one champion, because they said it's going to be a clean finish. This is going to be to be decisive. It hurts one person against the other. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. Because one thing that I like right now is you almost feel like Cody and Gunther are about the same place. They're both very strong champions. And now you're going to take one and you're going to put one on a tier below the other one. And I'm not real thrilled about that. Same thing with the women. But Phil, what do you think about that?
So I'm in the same place, but it's like you have an undisputed champion who's holding 2 championships. You created or recreated the World Heavyweight Championship. Now you're doing the Crown Jewel Championship not to unite, to just say this is the guy that beat both of them. It's like, what are you guys doing? This just isn't, this doesn't ring good to me right now, just on the men's side. The women have not had that opportunity. So I think there could be something you could develop with women. Does that mean then the loser loses their championship? Or is it just the Crown Jewel Championship is the opportunity for bragging rights? I beat your champion. Ha.
Yeah. So what impact does it have? Not that big on it. I got Jesse Hyde in the chat box saying some people think the Crown Jewel Championship is a nothing belt and ugly, but we will see, because Saudi WWPLEs in recent years are like WrestleMania levels. I don't know about that, but that belt's not ugly. That's a pretty nice belt.
It's a nice belt, but let's be honest. Phil's right. The Saudi shows are glorified house shows. They're not WrestleMania level. I mean, they want to be. They want to make it like it is, but to those of us that follow it regularly, it's a glorified house show. From way I understand it, it's going to be bragging rights and nothing else. Each champion will still have their championship. This will just be bragging rights, and like I said, it'll be good for a couple of weeks, and then everybody forgets about it because, oh, by the way, War Games is coming up. So
So that's about how I feel about it. I mean, it's by the way, we got to congratulate WWE NXT on their debut on the CW. They nailed it. Average viewers 895,000. Ratings in the key 18 to 49 demo were up 36.8%, 44% overall. So it looks like the boys are pretty happy about going to the CW. So congratulations to WWE on that one. A nice win for them. All right. And we're going to be headed to hour number 2 here pretty shortly. Man, I'm going to have all these guys back. Can you believe it, everybody? Because they're awesome. And they must not have anything better to do this morning. So it's all good. Phil Stamper, of course, from the Wrestling Revolver. Make sure you check that out. Stu Myrick. He is at, and Phil is at Trust and Phil on X. Stu Myrick at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. And Jason Halperin, he is at LV_HitMN. And he's just hanging around Las Vegas doing his thing. So we got a whole lot more coming up for you. Oh, AEW made some money. It's done. Kinda. There may be more cash falling from the sky for them. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more coming up on the Mark Hoke Show. Hour number 2 with these guys. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
The Las Vegas Book Festival returns to downtown Las Vegas from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on October 19th, featuring John Waters, hot topic panels, and books. Visit LasVegasBookFestival.com.
An important message from Byram Healthcare. If you live with diabetes, you know how challenging and painful it can be to manage your blood sugar. Whether you have private insurance, traditional Medicare, or Medicaid, that can all change. If you inject insulin or have hypoglycemic events without insulin, you may qualify to receive at little or no cost, less copay and deductible, a continuous glucose monitor. It provides blood sugar readings with no uncomfortable finger sticks. It alerts you in real time to potential spikes and lows with your blood sugar levels. Byram Healthcare has been named Best Overall Diabetes Supply Company 4 years in a row by Verywell Health. We carry all major brands and will work with your insurance to get your CGM approved. If you have diabetes, call a U.S.-based Byram Healthcare specialist now. See if you qualify and end the finger stick.
Call 888-901-6851. 888-901-6851. That's 888-901-6851.
Here to retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable. And one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
This is Jean Marie Laskus with the podcast Cement City. So there's this election coming up, a big one, and one guy's been indicted. People are talking voter fraud. Democracy itself is on the line. Sound familiar? Well, this isn't that election. This one is in Denora, Pennsylvania, a dying town in the middle of nowhere, where I bought a house and stayed for 3 years. Listen to and follow Cement City, an Odyssey original podcast in partnership with Cement City Productions, available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Tune in to Real Estate Live with the Real Estate Guys, Aaron and Jacob Taylor.
We're keeping it real, we're keeping it current, and we're keeping it fun. Las Vegas' #1 real estate show.
Catch us every Saturday at 3 p.m. on 101.5.
The Real Estate Guy.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 101.5 FM KDAWN.
Hurricane threat in the Gulf. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Tropical storm Milton predicted to reach hurricane strength tonight and forecast to make a direct hit on the west coast of the Florida Peninsula Wednesday. Fox Chief Meteorologist Rick Reichmuth.
Milton, it's going to move off towards the east. We know it's going towards Florida, exactly where. We're not exactly quite sure just yet at this point. But conditions are really favorable for strengthening of this storm in the short to medium term. Expect this to get to major hurricane status somewhere here across the central Florida coast. This Tampa Bay is one of the most susceptible areas in all of the country for storm surge flooding, and this storm has the chance to be a very dangerous one for that area. If you're in that place, you need to be thinking about your plans immediately.
Well, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis declaring a state of emergency ahead of the expected landfall Wednesday for 35 Florida counties. Recovery efforts continue in the southeast from Hurricane Helene. Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell is in Swannanoa, North Carolina.
FEMA saying they've approved 14,000 applications, dispersing $12 million in this county so far. They are also encouraging people to register at disasterassistance.gov. Colonel Sean Shields with the 20th Engineer Brigade spoke about their efforts clearing roads so the Army can get humanitarian aid in faster. He says their goal is to save lives and reduce suffering.
Their fellow Americans, it's heartbreaking to see that what they've had to deal with, the suffering that they're, and we're really excited and eager to help them out. It's helping American citizens and the men and women that are in uniform here, and that's exactly what they're trained to do.
For the people who are at home, they're still dealing with issues, power outages, still 161,000 customers across this state alone.
Millions are without power across several states, and many others struggle for clean water, gas, and food as debris continues to block roadways. America is listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network, the Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day, going far beyond the headlines, tapping into the massive reporting resources of Fox News to provide a full picture of the news of the day.
I'm Dana Perino.
I'm Brett Baer.
I'm Maria Bartiromo.
I'm Brian Kilmeade, and this is the Fox News Rundown.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
You never hear me call myself a journalist. I'm not. I'm not a journalist. And a talk show host has opinions, and I do have an opinion. I'm an opinion journalist. I don't hide and say I'm object. I'm not.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at noon on 101.5 KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas, and we're just simply the best. That's all there is to it. Universal powerhouse. And I've got three of my favorite guys in here in the studio with me for hour number 2. Jason Halperin in the house. Jason, what's going on?
Same old, same old. Just living the dream out here in Vegas.
Well, there you go. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling with his memorabilia and all that crazy stuff in the bedroom.
Bedroom? No. Oh, by the way, it's fourth quarter, Jets and Vikings, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't been injured yet. So there we go.
Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. Phil Stamper at Trusted Phil. He is the president of wrestling. What a sly little minx he is over there. What's going on, Phil?
What did I do?
You do everything. We all know you cause trouble out there.
That's why I'm the president of wrestling, because I do it all.
Hey, Phil, by the way, Wrestling Revolver is coming to Texas next weekend.
We are coming to Texas next Saturday, Grand Prairie, Texas, at the Epic.
Up in the DFW Metroplex. Get to see a few of my favorites.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Watch out for Brick Savage.
You know what? That was the first person I was going to say.
Brick lives here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he and I shop at the same grocery store. And even I take a, scenic route around him. But, they call him the World Breaker for a reason.
Brick Savage versus Jake something versus Moose.
That's
whoa.
That's going to be big.
Literally big.
Yes.
That's going to be an awesome
That's
match.
a lot of
So,
beef.
yeah, so make sure you check that out at the Wrestling Revolver. All right. And by the way, before we get into more wrestling, I'd just like to mention that the University of North Dakota really, really sucks. They're terrible. They do not know how to play football. They got lucky last year and finally beat us for the first time in the D1 era. But yesterday, 41-17, smoking by the Bison. As you can see, that NDSU medallion hanging back by Jason Halperin's head. No matter what era, no matter what year, no matter what day, UND still sucks.
UND.
Ah!
All right.
Losers. Okay, I feel better now.
That's not North Dakota State, right?
North Dakota State. No, not North.
No.
North Dakota State beat them because we're better than them. We
Oh,
always will
okay.
be better than them.
I was trying to figure out who we are.
The suit.
That's
well,
you
the
said
Hawks.
we. I
whatever they
didn't
are.
know, but I know what school.
At
Yeah.
first, I thought he was throwing shade at Jason, and I was like, "What is happening?"
No.
Now I'm
Jesus, I
understanding.
wouldn't.
Now
I
I'm
wouldn't throw anything at
You
Jason.
know, there's an unwritten rule in sports media. You never show, we. I don't play for the Cowboys.
I went to North Dakota State and was in the athletic training department for a while. I can say we.
All right.
I can say we.
I have all the respect in the world for athletic trainers.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. A couple of loose ends I wanted to wrap up with what happened yesterday, too. First, Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes out in the parking lot after that was over.
Mm-hmm.
In case you missed that. So, KO. I got my Kevin Steen back. I'm so happy, Phil. I'm happy.
I'm very happy for you. But is it just gonna be? Let it be brutal. Let it be vicious. We don't know what happened. How are they going to turn this around? I want to see the WWE video of it. I've only seen like the fan cam sort of capturing it, which is cool in the way that was the reveal for it. And while they're doing the press conference, Triple H comes in and sits down, and Cody's not available right now, and he goes into the press conference. And then towards in the press conference, you see in the chat, Kevin just attacked him. Kevin just attacked Cody.
That's awesome. So I've got my bad Kevin back. Stu, you look excited.
Well, no, it's not so much excitement as, look, and I think back to Paul White, the Big Show. He always joked about he had more turns than NASCAR. I would say Formula One, but and so I'm wondering if that's happening with Kevin, because, and I get, Kevin's great as a heel. I get it, but it's kind of like, all right, well, let's see when they turn Miz turned on R-Truth on Raw last week. It's kind of like, all right, here we go again. Another Miz heel run. All right. We'll wait it out and see what happens to make him turn face again. Because it will. And it's starting to feel that way with Kevin. It's like, all right, we'll wait this out and see. And what happens to Randy Orton? Is he going to turn on Cody too? I mean, that's been the rumor. I get the sense Randy is enjoying doing what he's doing right now. So maybe he doesn't, but that's just me.
That might be a fun Saturday night's main event with Randy and Kevin taking on Roman and Cody. That would be good for that show, I think.
That's possible. I mean, you got some time to build it because that's mid-December, so you got time to build it. But again, that would mean Randy has to turn heel too.
Well, yeah, they're friends. They're all friends. It's a lover's triangle for professional wrestling.
And friends like to beat up each other.
Yeah,
being in the ring with somebody who you know and love. Oh man.
Yeah.
Because they're going to hit you back just as hard.
Oh, no.
That's great. So Kevin Owens goes bad. You were talking about the press conference as well, Phil, and Triple H got confronted about black representation on the cards. Of course, it's been a little since we've had the black singles male wrestler getting a win on a WWE PLE. And Triple H said, I don't see color. I just see talent. And it's been a mixed bag to those comments, to say the least. Jason, what do you think about Triple H's response to that question?
I think it's a very bland response. Honestly, you don't have a lot of representation on the card right now on the main card. that being said, you have to work with what you got. You're going to see the push. You're going to see the him push here. They're already pushing him a little bit, just not enough. But I think that's obviously the next big push right there. The loss of Lashley was huge, but he wasn't even being used right towards the end, so it didn't really matter. He was mid card at that point. They just didn't want to use him for some reason or another. And that's just kind of my take on it.
Stu, what did you think of that comment?
Jason's right. There isn't a lot of representation on the roster, quite honestly. Now, again, yeah, you work with what you got, but you've got some guys in NXT. I mean, I'm glad Trick Williams has the NXT title, but it might be time to bring him up. It might be, there are some talents down in NXT that you could remedy that by calling them up a little bit. Now, maybe too soon. I mean, and again, you got to work with what you got. So, I do think that the record will get louder for that as time goes on until they find their next Bobby Lashley or whatever. And yeah, Bobby Lashley was horribly misused on the main roster. I mean, there is no reason why he shouldn't still be there and, contending with Gunther at least.
Yeah. And when you look down on who's on the main rosters right now that are black, it's a very thin group. You've got the Street Profits, you've got the New Day, Apollo Crews, and Carmelo Anthony. That's it right now. So there's not a lot to go with when you're trying to, if you're trying to get male wrestlers on the card. Now, but at Bad Blood last night, I don't think you can discount that, you had Naomi and the women's tag team champions, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair showing up. You had the Arkansas Pine Bluff band. You had rappers. I mean, it's not like they're ignoring black people on this, but it is an interesting quandary, Phil, that they've got to deal with. And, people are starting to take notice. And apparently WWE said, yeah, we're going to start keeping track of this a little bit better now. But, did you have a problem with what Triple H said? No,
I just think, like you said, it was sort of bland. And it was, in one respect, I'm glad he was prepared for the question, which also means he's probably thinking about it, which does lead to the fact that there is talent developing in NXT for the future of what they're maybe looking at doing. So I feel like it's in the thought process, at least. I'm hoping. I'm not going to lie. There was a reflection that somebody made to me a while ago about looking at how they were segmenting some of their stables by race.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute, where are we going here with this? That it felt a little too segmented in that respect. And it's not the 80s anymore. And so I'm hopeful that maybe this is there will be a turnaround for something different. I'm a little worried, but he didn't really focus on changing things for the future and looking at the future and keeping an eye out in the future. And I think I understand why from a storyline, this is wrestling perspective, but on the business side, like, you can't ignore representation.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. And, a lot of guys got hot and, some people got left behind, but I think Carmelo's going to get a push here soon, and we're going to see Woods breaking away from the New Day. So we'll see how that turns out. But just thought I'd throw that one out there. We forgot some other stuff. And by the way, in the chat box, Bionic Scoop hit us a couple of times. Our great friend photographer saying, "Gentlemen, you are a gentleman and a scholar, Mr. Scoop." And said Brick is good people.
He is. I joke. Brick is actually a good dude. He really is. And like I said, we're privileged to have him here. In fact, so after he does Wrestling Revolver, he'll be here in Austin. We got Inspire After Death here in Austin on next Sunday. And he's one half of our tag team champions.
Really?
Nice.
With Dmitry Alexandrov. He and they call themselves BDSM. Take that for what it's worth. They'll be defending those titles.
Phil Stamper is like trying to think of how he's going to challenge for those tag titles, I think.
No,
you're welcome. Hey,
I still have a left knee that is actively transitioning from being somebody else's to mine, and so not really there yet.
It's 3 hours from Grand Prairie to Austin down I-35. Phil, you're welcome to come.
There you go, Phil. You got the invite. Good luck. Be careful. All right. So let's get into what happened with AEW. The main deal is done. If you did not see this, and Tony Khan is a very, very happy man. Dave Meltzer reporting $555 million over 3 years, average of $185 million a year. Said starts lower, middle year will probably be about that. The third year will be up from that. And they have a fourth year option, which apparently jumps that even more. They will also be putting all their content up on HBO Max, and the pay-per-views will be moving over there too. They will be sold at a discount, and they don't even have this thing done with Fox yet, but apparently that is on the way as well. A massive win for AEW, and I think a massive win for pro wrestling. Jason, the deal's done, man. It's over. What do you think?
I think it's good. You're going to see a definite competition now. A little more than what you've had before with WWE. It's definitely going to help the whole industry. Another avenue for a lot of these wrestlers.
Yeah, and Stu, I'm really excited about the HBO Max thing because you're going to get a much more discounted rate on the pay-per-views, which means more people are going to watch. You're going to have more people being able to go back and look at the product from beginning to end. Now, Rampage, depending on how all these other deals work out, they might have to take that off there if they end up moving something to Fox. But those components, I think, are massive in this deal.
I believe the word around Campfire is that, Rampage will go away. Look, and this is kind of the trend with those things that, live sports and wrestling is in that. They're going to get big paydays because that's the, one thing. Live sports gets lots of eyeballs. You can't DVR it, or you can, but people don't usually DVR it. So it makes total sense. The, Tony gets paid. He can pay for Final Countdown many more times.
What, 6 or 7?
Yeah, at least. the thing about the pay-per-views going to Max, I think that's a good move. I'll be interested to see how much of a discounted price, because that's probably the one regret WWE has with Peacock is simple fact they don't charge for their pay-per-views because it's just part of the package. So at least AEW will be able to still recoup some money from that. And they say that's going to be later in 2025 because they're developing the technology to do the live pay-per-views on Max. I would suspect it shouldn't be that hard, considering all the different streamers like IWTV and such that do live streaming. So, but no matter what, it is a great day for AEW. Congratulations, Tony Khan and everybody at AEW. I think we could see maybe a little more of a competitive spirit between AEW and WWE.
Yeah, especially if they get this show on Fox, the Shockwave show that's rumored to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you get the AEW, whatever form it is, if it's a rap show or they actually do some wrestling on there, that is going to be a huge deal. You saw what happened with NXT going to CW, just how their ratings jumped up, and the drop that SmackDown took going off of Fox back to USA. So this is going to be really interesting for Tony. But Phil, here's my question for you. You're Tony Khan. What do you do with the new money?
They do need to fix some things with production. They're probably going to then increase some of the wages they give some of the folks, because there's some people who are doing really, really well. There's some people that could be doing a little bit better. I hope it would not be on any more additional talent to the roster that is 3 times too big. And when I say this, that's not because I don't want anybody to not have a job. That's not where I want to go. But and I'm in a luxury to be able to be in that position to be able to, like, you need a smaller roster without being able to have any input on who needs to go. But it's just too much. It's too much. You need to slim your product down and refocus it, which, hey, will also help you in some gain of the money that you need, because apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, who's crunched the numbers, so already I'm a little like, really, they've lost each year for the last 2 years somewhere between $20 and $34 million a year. Now they'll be getting somewhere between $61 and $76 million a year with this deal. So they could get a little bit more with some cost savings, with some salary money. But production has always been a challenge. You are right that, Max needs to test this technology. And even though there are companies that do it, they have to get somebody who specializes in creating that coding for a pay window inside of a existing streaming subscription service. That's sort of like a different level of how their platform will need to function and be able to move forward. It also might then lean into, which is also why it's a little surprising it isn't there yet, what about more movies at home sooner, and doing, a good, a pre-release before home streaming release kinds of things that might help recoup some box office money that's also not being realized in theaters anymore because people are waiting for it to come to streaming. And Max seems like the perfect place to do that. Max is actually making a lot of good moves, so I think this is going to be in the end a good place. Yeah, I think they need to fix I really think they have some production stuff they need to fix on, because the talent is there. Maybe marketing. I'm not missing the fact. I'm not missing the fact that the WWE and their press releases or press conferences is starting with, these are our attendance numbers and our 60th straight sellout event in a row.
Yeah, that's definitely not a coincidence.
Right.
And, it's funny that you mentioned production too, because, one thing that I was so hyped up for this pay-per-view, not necessarily because of the card, but the production stuff that they did leading into this. I mean, Lee Fitting's done an amazing job. And you see these cinematic promos that they've been putting together, and just all the neat camera shots, the backstage stuff, that makes it look like more of a sports production as opposed to what Kevin Dunn was doing. And AEW definitely needs to upgrade that. So that would be one, and production and marketing, I think, would be the two places I'd be spending right now.
I will say, though, to be fair, of all things, WWE last night, I don't think did a great job on some of their camera usage. Like, oh my God, in the women's match, the positioning of the camera to see the attack, from when, who is the mysterious man in the hoodie with the bandana on? And you're seeing it from the opposite side of the ring through the ropes. And it's like, well, you can't even see who you're talking about right now. So.
Yeah, that they'll get that right though. But it was funny that you mentioned the amount of money for talent, and just real fast, because of the Kevin Kelly and Tate Twins lawsuit against AEW, Chris Harrington, let's see, since 2022, AEW has paid more than $60 million in aggregate for both wrestling and non-wrestling talent. On average, that would mean around $207,000 per wrestler over that period from 2022. That's a lot of money. Wow. Any thoughts on that?
Pretty good wage. It's going to be, and that's the other thing that's going to be interesting with you mentioned the lawsuit with Kevin Kelly and Tate Twins. And again, I think, all of us that have been around wrestling for a long time and covered wrestling, like, I got to know Kevin. I've had him on my show multiple times. He's a wonderful man. The Tate Twins are great young men. We used to see them all the time in Wrestle Circus here in Austin. They're good dudes, huge Titans fans. But I just I don't know how that lawsuit is going to go. I got a feeling they're going to run out of money before they can take care of me, because it's Tony Khan. So he's got money to burn. But yeah, and I think that was, and that was one of the original intentions of when they started AEW, one of the things was, better pay, better whatever for the wrestlers. Maybe this will go into that a little bit. And you're right, maybe they can compete with WWE as far as what they can offer the wrestlers.
For their big names, I think they've been doing well. Like when they brought in an Edge, I'm sure they made a wonderful package of financial resources available to him. But it's, the guys who are on the road, and this is not a knock, because it's a good opportunity that Tony does give a lot of younger talent to be able to come out to events. WWE does the same thing. And Tony, they will pay basically the equivalent of the cost of the travel and get them a hotel. Like, that's really cool. But a lot of the guys, the complaint of the people who are at sort of this, not even the level or tier 0 contract arrangement was, well, you bring me back, which is great. I'm coming back time and time again, which is great. Well, I want to not sit here forever. I want to be further advanced up. And everyone says that they like me, but Tony doesn't see that value in me because I'm not this Twitter trending guy. Yes, everybody's watching me on Ring of Honor. Everybody's watching me from clips on AEW, but I need to leave here to go do more. So then it might be more enticing to pay some of those folks a little bit more money to stay around, and then maybe think about how you work them up into your system.
Yeah. So, well, Tony's got some new cash to play with, so good for him. And by the way, before we go to break, I just want to mention to everybody that we're going to be starting a new internet show on Thursdays, starting around 8:15-ish. Might have pushed 8:30. We'll see if I can get Ken Thompson from SportsX Radio out of the studio. But we're going to have the Mark Hoke Show late night with just a ton of great people joining us from all over the wrestling world. I know that Phil and Stu are going to be involved in this thing. And we're going to be doing wrestling news, but we're going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff on there too. I'm not letting the cat out of the bag yet. You're just going to have to tune in and find out every week what I'm going to throw at our fine guests that are going to be showing up. But it's going to be a great time, so make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, and X at Mark Hoke Show. And you're going to get to see a really fun and I think different take on wrestling and what we're going to be doing on Thursday nights, 8:15 Pacific time. And with that, we will head to break. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Jason Halperin joining me here on The Mark Hoke Show. Having a great time talking pro wrestling. And we had a 5th anniversary show for Dynamite, by the way, and some other stuff happening. So we're going to talk about that when we return. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115, or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. I love that when I'm spending time with my grandson, I can make him a bottle using water from any tap in our home. With a LifeSource whole house system, every drop is clean, healthy, and ready for anything, from baby bottles to bath time. Plus, no regular filter changes, no fuss, just clean water throughout the entire house. You deserve water that performs at its peak. So call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com for factory direct pricing today.
Warranty limitations apply.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
The holidays are coming, and Lowe's is here to help you get ready. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $75 on select cooking appliances, $899 or more. And get even more of an interior refresh with up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery. Because Lowe's knows holiday hosting. Valid through 10/16 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Todd is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I live in Georgia. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I love to give back to the community, whether it's my fellow veterans, some guy on the street corner. I offer what I can when I can. I started noticing that my memory was slipping, and I wanted to take proactive measures to try to help that. I saw a Prevagen commercial, and I did some research on it, and I wanted to find out, does this stuff really work? I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. Since taking Prevagen, I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Phil Stamper wasn't watching him. I challenged him to a fight. That's okay. You'll see it later on the live stream.
Just sweep the knee.
Hey.
Hey. Man.
I still have one good leg to kick your butt
on. No mercy. Mercy is for the weak. Anyway, welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. I got Jason Halperin, Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick along for the ride with me today. We are having a great time talking pro wrestling. The Dynamite 5th anniversary show took place. Of course, that's when the big announcements came out as well about the TV deal. So just a huge old party for AEW this week. A lot of people were talking about the Will Ospreay Ricochet rematch. And this match has absolutely torn the wrestling community apart about what is really a wrestling match. Because look, we knew from past performances when these guys got together, they're going to be flying and it's going to be a lot of gymnastics type stuff and just bouncing all over the place. But some people said that's not pro wrestling. It's not pro wrestling. You know, you got to be more physical. You can't be just doing a series of gymnastic type moves. Don't like it. Jason, did what Ricochet and Will Ospreay do on Wednesday, was that a wrestling match?
In today's world, yes, I think it is a wrestling match because I think there's a lot more of your high flying acrobatics that go into it. It's from the 80s. Would that have been considered a wrestling match? I don't think so. But I think in today's world, I truly think it is a wrestling match.
Okay, Phil, you know, you're around the guys at Wrestling Revolver all the time. Could appreciate the athleticism, but was it a wrestling match?
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to remember the comment. What was it that Lou Thez hated Harley Race because he didn't like his style of selling in the match because it made wrestling look too cartoony. And now, you know, look how much wrestling has advanced from there. This to me is just that there's different styles of wrestling, and this is just a different style of wrestling, and I'm okay with it because they can do it. I've seen people who can't and try and can't, and so the fact that they can go at that level, great.
Yeah, it's incredible to, you know, because believe it or not, yes, I know I'm a little chunky right now, but I took some gymnastics classes and things like that. I used to play volleyball and a ton, and I can really appreciate what those guys are doing while they're in motion and trying to coordinate with somebody else. My God, I just try not, you know, when I do a vault or something like that, to not kill myself, you know, or get tangled in a ring and, you know, rip a shoulder out or something like that. So what these guys are doing is just the athleticism and the coordination is phenomenal. But I know a lot of old school guys, Stu, that look at that and say, no. What do you think, Stu?
I'm with Phil. There are different styles, and yes, old school. I have friends that are, you know, old school, and they would hate it, but it's wrestling. So is deathmatch not wrestling? What cage match, is that really wrestling? It's all wrestling. You know, I still consider wrestling a sport, but there are those that also consider it an art form. There are many different types of art. There are many different types of pro wrestling.
Yeah, and it was a great match. I mean, Ospreay and Ricochet doing a fantastic job, and looking forward to maybe seeing some more out of those guys. And by the way, I got to mention good old Samantha Irvin, the WWE ring announcer, who of course is currently involved with Ricochet. Gave me some love on Twitter. Thank you, Samantha. You have my heart. It's amazing what happens when you call somebody a national treasure on Twitter. They do appreciate that.
She is an national treasure. She's fantastic.
Man, she sung America the Beautiful to start that thing off last night, by the way. Unbelievable. It should have grabbed Jillian Garcia. They could have done a duet. That would have been fun. We had Danielson and Okada hooking it up. That was fun this week. So, a pretty decent show. I think everybody was giving it around a B for the entire Dynamite show. But Shelton Benjamin showed up as well. So MVP brings out phase 1, Shelton Benjamin. You guys excited, man? Are we getting ready for Bobby Lashley? And apparently that signing is done. Are you ready for this with MVP and the boys, Phil Stamper? Are you ready?
Yes. Because I feel that they'll be used in differently than what we saw in WWE, and I feel they'll showcase differently. Differently also means it could go the other way. So I'm ready for it, and I want to see it succeed.
Jason, are you excited about this?
Hurt Business 2.0. How can you not get excited about it?
Right.
I mean, just like to follow up on what Phil said, yeah, they definitely need to make sure they use it in the right way, unlike the WWE did.
Oh, they butchered it. They were so hot, and I could not understand why they broke those guys up. One of the biggest mistakes Vince McMahon's made in the past 5 or 6 years. Just terrible. But I'm excited to see him back. Stu, what do you think, Bobby Lashley and the boys? What are you doing with Bobby, man? This is gonna be fun.
That's going to be the next reveal, and then Powerhouse Hobbs needs to be a part of that. I think, and because he's such a great young talent, and he has had no direction whatsoever. Let's put him with the Hurt Syndicate. Put him with MVP and Bobby and Shelton. I think that would be a fantastic faction.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean it's just going to provide more storyline opportunities, and it'll be another layer to what AEW is doing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with Shelton, guys? Do you have Shelton kind of do more tag teamy stuff with maybe somebody else that's in there, or with Bobby, or do we finally get to see Shelton Benjamin turned loose?
I say let him go. Shelton Benjamin is a fantastic wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget what he did back in his New Japan and Noah days, back in Suzuki-gun. Shelton can go. Let him go. I mean, yeah, sure. If you want to put him in a tag team, put him in a tag team. But he can be a singles wrestler just like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Phil, what do you think? Because Shelton really in WWE just for the longest time just never really got a shot individually to show what he can do, and he is absolutely incredible.
It didn't feel like it, and in that role, it felt like you're here to help them get better, and so it felt like it didn't really showcase him and the talent he had, and how it could better the company. And that's just it. When you showcase having good talent, it raises up the other talent because now they want to achieve higher to your level. Plus, then it helps the company because look at the talent we have. I felt like it felt like it was suppressed.
Yeah, and Jason, who do you want to see going with these guys? You got you like the Powerhouse Hobbs idea? Anybody else come to mind? What do you of course they're trying to persuade Swerve Strickland to come over to the gang. What do you think?
The Powerhouse Hobbs would be a great addition. Swerve would be an incredible addition. I don't know if that one's going to happen though. Hobbs, though, I think would be a great one to have come in there.
Could you imagine? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stu.
No, I was going to say I'm not sure about Swerve. I think Swerve needs to be his own guy. I wouldn't put him in the Hurt Syndicate. I wouldn't put him in any faction right now. Really, let him be a main event talent.
Yeah,
on his own.
Yeah, I would agree. And boy, it would be a great opening feud for Bobby Lashley if you got him in there with Swerve. That would be fun. By the way, Jesse Hyde in the chat box disagreeing. AEW's Hurt Business won't succeed. Wow, throwing it down. I think it's going to be great.
I would ask why.
Yeah.
Why won't it succeed?
Interesting.
Or do you? What Jesse's answering that question. Do you have Shelton make a run for Strick, whether it succeeds or not, and then Bobby comes in? And that Bobby's the bomb. But then I feel like I just put Shelton in the same boat that he was just in.
Yeah.
Don't make him a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I would say, have Sword Strickland, he declines MVP's invitation. And so that'll be Hurt Syndicate's first target is Swerve.
Yeah.
Whether it's Shelton or Bobby, or if they decide put Powerhouse.
I would get Prince Nana in there too. He's been talking it up. I mean, he was a good wrestler. I mean, people forget that he's pretty solid. So, we'll get.
Yeah, but again, that's that would then it's okay. Why? Because you already got MVP as I guess the manager. Why are you going to bring in another manager?
Well, I'm just saying in terms of maybe getting a feud.
But I don't think anybody will see that. They will see him as, you're getting another manager.
Yeah, give me a Shelton taking on Prince Nana to kick things off. That might be kind of fun. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's not sticking with you guys, but that's okay. Not a problem.
It was like the polite, oh, bless your heart. Like we're not.
Yeah, I got it, Phil. Thank you. It's all good.
An interesting one would be Shelton Benjamin and Lance Archer, former Suzuki Gun teammates.
Ooh, there you go. That's not bad. Yeah, Lance Archer needs a push too.
Well, he might be getting one with Don Callis. We'll see. They haven't used him a lot, and Lance is too good to not be used.
Yeah, I would agree with that. No doubt about it. All right, let's go, guys. We got to get one more break in here, and just want to remind everybody, if you would like to make sure to build your brand, whatever you need, embroidered shirts, T-shirts, pens, stickers, signs, banners, whatever you need. I want you to do me a favor and give Mike a call at Off Grid Creations. You can check it out at off-gridcreations.com. Mike does an unbelievable job. I mean, I got the nice shirt, that he made for me, and the banner that you may have seen at Wrestle Connects. He is unreal. So do me a favor and check it out at off-gridcreations.com. And of course, he'll do a free brand consultation for you. Just give him a buzz at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. He'll work with you nationally, wherever you are, not just in Vegas. And I promise you, he's going to take great care of us. So check it out, off-gridcreations.com. All right, and if I grab the correct mouse and start the music, we will head to break. One more time around with Jason Halperin, Stu Myrick, and Phil Stamper. Oh, man, great show and terrific discussion here on everything happening in the world of pro wrestling. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more, including Hammerstone laying it down outside the ring. How about that? Pretty cool stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Nevada, it's time for football at BetMGM. Take the field using promo code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $250 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Download the BetMGM app today and visit any of the 9 BetMGM sportsbooks on the Las Vegas Strip to complete your sign-up. Enjoy up to 3 hours of free parking at any of our properties, too, with validation. Remember to use bonus code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, when you place your first wager on options like the money line, parlays, original bets, live betting, and more. You'll get up to $250 back in bonus bets if you don't win. Football is back, Nevada sports fans. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. Nevada only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. MGMResorts.com/GameSense.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's do this one more time. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Jason Halperin, and yours truly, Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. We do appreciate it. And now, normally I don't talk about some regular old tag match on AEW Collision. You know, it's just, okay, whatever. You know, it's just another match. But this one I'm a little surprised about, and I think it's time we start talking about these boys. The dreaded Outrunners, guys. Phil's laughing already.
Yep.
But they beat the Grizzled Young Veterans, another team that they just brought in here. They are apparently the third highest selling merchandise for AEW. And if you don't know who the Outrunners are, they are your stereotypical 80s tag team, complete with 80s style vignettes, the whole ball of wax. I mean, these guys are crazy, but somehow it's working. And now they take a win away from the Grizzled Young Veterans who just came into AEW to much fanfare, and the Outrunners get the push. Phil, since you started laughing right away, are we going to be seeing the Outrunners as the AEW World Tag Team Champions soon?
We could. They're just fun. They're just fun. They do it right. They know what their job is, and they're doing it, and they're doing it well. And what you just said, they're the third top gimmick or gear sellers. I don't know what shirt, I don't know, merchandise seller. Thank you. Couldn't find the word. Top 3 merchandise seller in AEW, which means, hey, look, there's a level of success here. Somebody likes them. Maybe we need to give them that push, which means, hey, that will make more money now. So, hey, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Jason, at the expense of the Grizzled Young Veterans right off the bat, that's got to sting those two a little bit.
I'm sure it does sting them a little bit, but like Phil said, somebody likes these guys somewhere, so you got to push them. It's the merchandise, it's the marketing. That's what's going to push them. It's going to put more money in their pockets for the company.
Stu, you and I are of a certain age that we remember how goofy and crazy the 80s promos were and how they looked. And this is clearly reaching out to partially our audience and an audience of, man, we just like ourselves a wacky tag team. What do you think of these guys? Because they like me on Twitter, by the way. We're friends.
There is, so our dear friend Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling, he has a saying, Goofy Wrestling for Life. And I am a firm and stout subscriber to that. And it's like Phil and Jason said, you go with the hot hand. They are hot. It's kind of that whole what's old is new again. And you get these nostalgia. It kind of goes in cycles, right? And I think right now, maybe people are trying to feel a little bit of the 80s. And the Outrunners have captured it beautifully.
Yes.
So why not? Hey, they're hot. Let's push them. See how far they can go.
Go ahead, Phil.
I will say, like what you said about grizzled young vets, though. I feel bad. I really like these guys. I thought they were going to come in and like just level out all the competition. And in their match against the Acclaimed, it was not their fault. The Acclaimed had botches, and it made them look bad. And like, so I don't think they've ever recovered their footing since then, just to be very honest. And I want them to succeed, like, because they're a great tag team. But like, I thought this was a space to then reintroduce them, and I guess we're gonna do this again.
Yeah, it's tough for those guys. I mean, I wonder though if maybe you could be kind of starting a secondary feud, but God, I'm just trying to picture the Outrunners beating the Young Bucks. I'm trying to picture that in my head, and I just can't see it. I can't, but who knows? I mean, Stu, I mean, I see you wringing your head over there. It's like
Private Party beat them in that first, when they ran the tournament to crown new tag champions. Private Party beat them. Why not?
Yeah. Well, that's the first round of a tournament, though, so it's a little different circumstance.
Still a match. It's still a match. So why not put the Outrunners against the Bucks?
But win? That's the question. But win?
It would make the crowd happy.
That is true.
Look, and I like Matt and Nick. I really do. The whole doing the EVP thing and all this. It's like, all right, guys, you're not. It's cute, but now it's kind of like, all right. And I think people are waiting for whoever takes the tag titles off them. Even if it's a transitional thing, why not? Let the Outrunners get a win. They get the titles, and then, some heel team will take them off of them in a week or two.
Well, fair enough. Wrestle Dream, by the way, coming up on Saturday, and we don't have time to preview the whole card. But, Phil, what are you looking forward to on Wrestle Dream coming up with the main event? Danielson and Mox.
I mean, I just want that to be violent. I want that to be aggressive. I want that to be hard hitting, and I hope it is. There were times, and we have Moxley at Revolver. There are times that I'm like, man, I want you to ratchet it up a notch. I would probably be punched in the face if I was ever told that. I want him to be aggressive, super in your face. I like this Moxley, and I want to see more of it.
Jason, Wrestle Dream coming up. Any thoughts on the card coming up on Saturday?
I'm kind of with Phil on this one. Love to see Moxley ratchet it up. That being said, also looking forward to the Osprey Ricochet. And
Takeshita.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Those are probably the highlights I'm looking at.
Stu, real quick, what do you think about Wrestle Dream coming up?
I want to say, I think we all figure Mox is probably going to win. This is it for Brian. I want to see if they will reveal about this is bigger than us. And I pray to God it's not Shane McMahon.
And Jesse Hyde in the chat box said Shane McMahon come to AEW.
I hope not.
Brace yourself. And I should have gone this year, and I just, with it being on Saturday, it's a little bit tough my schedule. I went last year and just had a great time. And I have a feeling something really special is going to happen here at Wrestle Dream on Saturday. So make sure you guys check that out. And that's
it's not
it.
Shane, it's Vince.
Phil Stamper.
Phil, I
bite your
really
tongue.
like you. Now I don't even want to see you inside my state.
That's fair.
Oh, no.
I'm not
You are
wanting
banned
it.
from Texas.
I'm not wanting it.
Oh, dear
I hope I
God.
didn't manifest it.
Better not have.
Jesus. Jason Halperin, you can follow him on X at LV_HitMN. Stu Myrick, you can check out his amazing podcast, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. He is at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. Phil Stamper at Trust and Phil. If you want to block him, go right ahead right now. Guys, thanks so much for a terrific show. I want to thank all three of you for joining me. Thursday night, we're going to see you. So make sure you hop online and check us out and follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook and YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. We'll see you next week, Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
If you're starting to think